If you're an aspiring artist, do not listen to nothing academic says, bro. Don't take his advice. Don't, because academic.
Now, if you're an aspiring artist, according to Blueface, don't take the advice of academics. Well, I'm glad that Blueface said that, because he's one that never took my advice. But I want to catalog and I'll chronologically mention a few things of how I gave him advice this way and he went that way, because of course you heard him. Don't take my advice. And let's just see how it yielded in each situation. Okay? Let's just go down the list, right? First and foremost, the obvious. The Krishan Rock situation, which he was upset that I commented on. Right? When she was hitting him over the head with a Henny bottle and I was saying this is unbecoming of a rapper who talks like this. He went the other way. Now he's stuck with Krishan Rock permanently in his life and Charles Barkley Jr. I told him slow down on the drugs. Maybe that could be a thing. They drank Henny 9 months into the pregnancy. Charles Barkley Jr. I don't know. Maybe he was right. I was wrong. Don't listen to me. Keep drinking. Keep turning up with your baby moms. In one of the Zeus clips that she's supposedly drinking while she's pregnant, you're with her. So you didn't take nobody's advice. You actually went on Vlad to say you don't believe that smoking weed while pregnant is a bad thing. Why? Because you sat there and was in her face for 9 months while she smoked weed, hotboxing Charles Barkley Jr. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's one of the things I say, you know what, Blue, you got it. Touche. I think, depending on whose advice you should listen to, your advice worked. Well, I then told you, I said, listen, man, you know, and this is not talking down on, because we all go through issues with women. I like to say that because, you know, I hate when people act like they've never had women issues, because I have too. But I said, calm it down, bro. This woman, you know, she's going to have you crash out over her. You're having this toxic thing, and I know y'all are monetizing in a way that might seem profitable, but you're creating a monster. I said this, and he was upset at me for saying this. You are sacrificing your career to build hers. He didn't like that. I want to see which advice went well. Blueface never had another Billboard hit after that. It's the last time he's been on the charts, okay? Hasn't been on the charts since, okay? He subsequently went to jail after he gets put on house arrest, but his girl rage baits him to say, you're going to listen to the judge and you pussy and whatever. So he leaves, goes to Vegas, shoots a nigga in the hand, violates the conditions of his release, gets sent to jail for 18 months. Comes out with scribble scrabble on his face. Look, according to what I've read on social media, they said that there are some ancient markings on his face that could actually reroute to figure out who created the Egyptian pyramids. Y'all just got to go through all the W's and the Y's and the YSLs and the schoolyard crypt markings on it. You could find out who did it. But that's another thing in terms of listening to people. I think you went with your advice rather than the advice I gave you. I think that was good. It only yielded jail and some markings. Okay. Let's continue with your career. I gave the advice, hey, Blueface, I think you should probably find out what's going on with your contract. When asked about your contract early on as a young artist, you say, I don't know. Whack 100 knows the details of my contract. I gave a advice. Buddy, you're the artist. If he's your manager, he works for you. Probably should know your own deal. Nope. It's another thing. Blueface didn't take my advice. And I think it turned out good for him. Blueface little royalties are now being seized by his op, Soulja Boy, and his girlfriend. So Blueface himself started boxing, started doing reality shows and everything during supposedly, which was close to his prime, because money from music was non-existent. Look at everybody else who own their masters, who got all the leverage, who signed the right deals. You don't see them running to boxing rings, trying to monetize a relationship, getting hit over the head with a Henny bottle. No. But of course, listen to Blueface. I always tell you this. Anytime you see a rapper get run out of music, a lot of times, their deal fucked up. There's no money that's left. You know why? When the label give you all the money and they're saying, hey, listen, give us the album now. Or you might give them the album and they either turn it down, or they're like, oh, well, right now, based on the time, we could keep you for a year and a half before we release another advance to you. You're going to sit a year and a half? You know, rappers blow through money quick. You think a rapper's going to sit there for a year and a half waiting for the next check? So shit gets dry quick. But anyway, that's another thing. Blueface didn't listen to me, and I think turned out good. Turned out good for him. Didn't own a lot of his masters, and we get to find out the little masters he did have that may generate some royalties. It's now being seized. Oh, here's another one. Blueface gets sued. Actually, let me bring that back. Do y'all remember the episode when Blueface started talking shit to me like a couple years ago, and I said, Blueface, and I looked up his house and I said, Blueface, your house is about to be foreclosed on. I'm going to buy it. Y'all don't remember that? I said, I'm going to buy it. I sent someone to an auction. By the way, Wack privately admitted to me, he said, Ack, we didn't even know this shit was up for foreclosure. Tells you everything you need to know about the business. I was about to buy it. Did that give Blueface maybe that was the advice to say, maybe you should handle your business that you don't lose your house, maybe to somebody you don't like? Nevertheless, look up on TMZ. Blueface lists his house. Sounds like all the advice I gave him and all the advice he didn't take turned out good for him. But I got even one better. Blueface and Wack, when I guess they were running a play, Blueface hinted when asked about why are you and Ack going back and forth? You know what Blueface said? Ack is only mad because I fucked this bitch. I gave him some more advice. Blueface, you might not want to lie on your pee-pee. Don't lie on your penis. That's first of all, that's not manly. But lying, period, could have repercussions. How did that advice turn out for him? Blueface lies about fucking Soulja Boy's baby mama around the time she got pregnant, and a judge orders him to pay this amount. It looks like my advice fell on deaf ears, and every single time it could have helped you. So I want you to tell me the advice I've given that didn't turn out good versus the advice you've given that turned out good. I told you, when you try to lie on your pee-pee about my ex, I said, bro, you shouldn't do that. That's unbecoming of a man. And also when you are a celebrity claiming that you fucked some random chick who's not popular, there could be recourse to this if you're lying. Now, granted, supposedly the story is Blueface did fuck Soulja Boy's baby moms, just not at the time he lied that he did. He lied that he fucked her around the time of the conception of the child and that he could be the baby father. The lie detector determined that was a fucking lie. The judge determined that was defamation and ordered him to pay $123,000. This was years ago, and now it's ballooned up to $160,000 or so. Blue, got no problem with you, but I like to be factual here. You're probably the last person who could give the advice to anyone to not listen to me. After all the advice I gave to you during your career, I'm pretty much about 10 of 10. In everything I've said, it would have probably went the other way. You definitely didn't listen, and it went the other way. You went to jail. You got scribble scrabble on your face. You got Charles Barkley Jr. because y'all wouldn't stop smoking weed and drinking alcohol during the 9 months of the pregnancy. I told you about your house. Maybe you should want to pay it off. You were beefing with a nigga who owned all his shit with all his cars paid off, and your shit was in, you were making minimum payments and forgetting them because you was high off that weed and off that hand dog with the one-tooth bandit. And then basically, you're now selling the house. You start lying on your penis. I told you that's not a good thing. Then you lied again, and you have to pay almost $200,000. You see all the advice I gave you? You should damn near call me daddy. Because I told you like a good son, if you do these things, life will be good. You say, fuck it, dad. I'm going to do it my way. And I said, go ahead. You know what they say? A hard head makes a soft ass. Pause. If you know that term or that phrase, you know it. It is what it is. You're out of jail, not planning an album. You're planning a reality show. You're out of jail, not planning a tour. You're now streaming. And there's nothing wrong with streaming, because I stream. But what I told you back then about keeping that mystique for your rap career, the rap career, I believe everybody could say, yeah, that shit's clipped. Yeah, that shit's clipped. And that's okay too. All right? So Blueface, got no problem with you. But by the way, a hit dog gonna holler. My comments weren't even meant for you. It was not meant for you. I thought you gave up your rap career a long time ago. You're supposed to do these things I'm saying. You're supposed to stream. You're supposed to stream. You're supposed to do a reality show. Your job now is to court attention at all costs. This is why I understand when I see you tweet at the Atlanta guys saying, "Now on schoolyard creep, yo, I'm gonna live and die with my gang." When you give your opinion on that, yeah, because you've given up on music. You're a commentator just like me at this point. When you basically then give unsolicited advice to Kai Cenat about him potentially going through a heartbreak, when again, we've all been through shit with women, but you weren't listening either when niggas was telling you, yo, shorty is hitting you in the head with a bottle. You should probably, it's okay. So you're doing the right thing, but this comment wasn't meant for you. I was talking to musicians who are selling primarily the product of music. Blueface, currently the product that you're selling is not music. You're selling attention. So you should get the OnlyFans page. You should have a Twitch stream. You should have a gambling deal if you could get one. You should have everything. You should get back in the ring and box. You should do whatever because you're a fucking entertaining guy. Blueface, you are 6ix9ine at this point. I was just talking to 6ix9ine just now. You know what a test is going to be? I think he's about to drop a song, the song he did on Aiden's show. We're going to listen to it. I like it, actually, but this is going to be a good way to tell. 6ix9ine right now, he's an entertainer to me. Not as much a musician. He's an entertainer. I call a spade a spade. 6ix9ine, I believe he's a top entertainer. He would get the most views if it was an interview, a podcast, or him talking some shit. If he dropped a song, would it get the same views? I don't know. This will be a test for him to see if he could cross people back over that bridge. Okay? So, I'm not a hypocrite. I think Blueface should be doing what he's doing. He's a streamer. Or he should be streaming. 6ix9ine's doing what he should be doing. Streaming. right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these guys aren't selling music anymore like that. You know what I mean? They have catalogs. Like, 6ix9ine sells old music, but newer music, you know, they don't even try to put out music as much. Like, these guys put out 1-2 songs maybe like every 6 months. They usually just on Instagram live beefing or, you know, talking shit on somebody's podcast, and it's cool too. But that there you could get hot on social media, and then you could sell that attention for promos or whatever the case is. All right. So that's the thing with Blueface. And by the way, no, I'm not upset at Blueface, you know what I mean? But I wanted to give him a proper response as he, you know, he felt I was talking to him, which I wasn't. But I think I have a good track record on giving advice, Blueface, especially to you. You just never followed any of it.